What is up, my cutouts cardboard ninja here coming at you with more crossout news. This time it's the return of Hyperborea part 1. So there's obviously going to be multiple parts from the devlog, but interesting story. Hyperborea is back for those of us who remember that faction. It was the one that came with absolutely no repeatable recipes for any parts because of the fact that they no longer give those away. But Hyperborea is back, and they're coming with the new legendary engine. So we all know that Pegasus exists in game, and we'll go over that real fast. Basically, as you know, Pegasus is meant for those super heavy builds. It reduces the power penalty based on your power penalty. So the more power penalty you have, the more power penalty it reduces. So it's not necessarily good for hovers, but there are hovers that can use it because it has massive durability. But there's going to be a brand new legendary engine. It's gonna be huge. I'm not good at this pin count thing, but I'm thinking it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's gonna be like 7 pins long, and what appears to be, I'd assume 6. No, 4. Yeah, maybe 7 by 6 by 4. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. But anyway, it's gonna be the next legendary engine. So it's going to not give a significant bonus to mass limit and power, but instead is going to increase or massively increase active tonnage. So for those of us who don't know, the Cheetah and the Oppressor currently are the two engines that grant the greatest amount to active tonnage at 3,000. So this is going to give potentially, I'm going to guess, more than 3,000, maybe, I don't know, 5,200 or something like that. That's a guess. But it's also going to give a significant increase to the maximum speed. So they're trying to replace the Oppressor as the default fastest cabin, or the Cheetah, which they replaced with the Oppressor as the fastest cabin. I don't know why they did that. The Cheetah still should have been faster because its name's effing Cheetah, but whatever. So it looks as though that the new legendary engine, which has no name yet, its perk is going to be unbelievably wild and going to be unbelievably annoying. So expect this to be on every Yongwang build. The faster you move, you gain damage resistance to your weapons, and at 110 kilometers an hour, that's when you receive the greatest bonus. So, yeah, there you go. It's just going to be a brand new engine. It's going to be legendary. It's not going to increase turn angle. It's going to increase durability, I believe. Oh, I'm sorry. It does two things. It's going to increase your accuracy of weapons and damage resistance. So there you go. I don't know how much. So just so we're on the same page, there are several things in the game that already exist that increase accuracy of weapons. I believe one of them is big ram legs. Um, I know one of them is the Torero cabin. Um, and I think there's one other, just not off the top of my head. This is an interesting perk. It has varying degrees of efficacy. Except one thing that will be noted is that the general thing that is best at doing is reducing the spread on shotguns. So if you were to use this new legendary engine combined with 110 kilometers an hour and doing so with the Torero engine, it means that your shotguns are going to be very accurate. And that matters because the tighter the spread, the more like a laser they are. So that could be a pretty good combo, and I expect to see that used. Because shotguns are probably the only weapon whose default turning radius is high enough that you don't actually want. It's not that you don't want, but you don't necessarily need the oppressor to buff. So that's something to look forward to, and a new legendary invisibility module, and it's huge. It looks like a damn Y-wing from Star Wars. Hyperborea coming in hot. Interesting thing about this is twofold. One, anyone who knows how I feel about cloaking modules is that invisibility is strong. It's extremely strong. It's very, very, very strong. Because the fact is you can't shoot what you can't see, and if you don't know someone's invisible, it just means that they just get the drop on you. It's just standard, one of the most powerful things that you can do. And so far, we've been limited to Chameleon and Chameleon Mark II, both of which are S tier modules, in my opinion. This is a massive size module. Like each of these little pontoons are 2x2s. So that's a 2x2, and then we know this is going to be a by 6 across because there's a 2 space in there with another 2x2 pontoon and a 2x2 on front. So you know the dimensions of this. This is a huge tuning fork ass part. But what's the difference between this and other cloaking modules? Well, instead of the Chameleon Mark 1 Mark 2, which work exactly the same way, which is you go invisible until you either fire your guns or you're shot or you run out of time, and then it goes on cooldown. Instead of that, there's no cooldown. Instead, you're given a pool of invisibility resource. In this instance, I believe it's something like 30 seconds. So you have 30 seconds of the invisibility resource available to you, and you can use that at will. I don't know how that's going to work with being shot and whether or not that removes you from invisibility or not, but because it doesn't actually state that in here anyway. What it does say is, though, that you can use that pool of invisibility as you please. Mind you, after you use your 30 seconds of invisibility, it burns out. It's no longer usable. You can't keep going. It's just 30 seconds. But they probably did the math based on the numbers in matches and determined that 30 seconds is probably about as much as the other modules give you in a given match. So if you're playing a standard match of crossout lasts 5 minutes, and you use your invisibility modules as often as you can, assuming that you're using the cheetah, based on the fact that you're probably shot, based on the fact that you're probably shooting, things like that, odds are very good you don't get 30 seconds of invisibility already. So they probably did the math and said, you know what, you already get about around 30 seconds of invisibility, so we're just going to give you that 30 seconds of invisibility for you to choose when to use it. This is going to be incredibly interesting. And believe it or not, the Ghost Cabin is getting an insane buff from this. The thing that prevents the Ghost Cabin from keeping up its constant 28%, I think it is, it's 26 or 28% damage bonus, is the fact that you can't re-invis, right? You use your invisibility, you get the damage bonus, you shoot, everyone's happy, then the bonus wears off, and you got to wait for the cooldown. No longer. You can just tap for 5 seconds of invisibility and basically constantly keep your ghost damage bonus. That's ridiculous. The ghost damage bonus is like the second highest in the game. Well, third highest, if you because the first is obviously the Catalina. The second is the cockpit, but you pay energy for it. The third is the humpback, which is 30%, and then the ghost, which is like 28%. But anyway, regardless of all that stuff, you could definitely tap this invisibility module to keep your cloak up. That's pretty sick. I mean, once you run out of cloak, it no longer functions, but I mean, that's no different than, let's say, you running out of boost with a cockpit, right? That's pretty interesting. Getting up to 30 seconds of invisibility just on, it's going to be really annoying. Combine that with Leviathan Clan Wars, shoving this tuning fork onto your Leviathan, just being invisible on your levy from the start of the match, and then just W keying directly at your opponent. You know, that's going to be interesting. Again, it doesn't say whether or not firing your weapons or anything like that is going to break you out of invisibility like normal. It might, but even then, this is actually going to be an interesting one. It's going to be interesting. Invisibility modules are, well, invisibility in general is overpowered. This module will not be any different than the standard ones in that it's overpowered. I do believe that this opens up a couple of opportunities, not just blowing all 30 seconds to get to your opponent with lances, which will happen, by the way, but not just that, but there are several other things that you can do with it. Obviously, you've got your ghosts, you've got your levies, and I'm trying to think of any others. I mean, one of the more annoying things is they just released the flock, and the flock is designed explicitly to be a missile intercepting device. Takes 0 energy, takes ammunition, but it's missile interception. Fair enough. So this way you don't have to be invisible to do so. This is interesting because this thing you can just turn on and off. They even give that as an example. Just imagine, need to hide for a second from homing missiles flying in your direction? No problem. Activate the module, evade the rockets, disable invisibility module, and move on. See the problem? Like that, they just kind of, I don't want to say negated the value of the flock, but because they didn't, the flock still is good and it has its advantages, but it's very close to that. And this is just another thing that just shits all over the Argus. Anytime I can bring up something pooping on that module, I'm going to. But this is just another thing that's going to shit on the Argus. They really, like, honestly, truly, this is just a minor aside. I know this has nothing to do with the Hyperborea, but super honestly, they just need to buff the Argus, remove the energy cost, limit it to 1 on a build, just because it's that bad. It's just that bad. Even then, people aren't going to bring it. Even then, people aren't going to bring the damn thing. It's 400 power score or something like that. No one's going to bring it. So you may as well just buff it because it is dog shit. Anywho, that's the new Hyperborea for you, part 1. I'll keep you guys up to date on ye old Devo Bloggy as it shows up for parts 2 and part 3 right before it drops. This means that we're probably about a month and a half away from the drop of the Return of Hyperborea. By the way, with the Return of Hyperborea, please expect that you're going to be able to craft all the shit from the first Hyperborea. So if you're looking to sell your no-thungs, get rid of them before this drops because your no-thungs aren't going to be worth anything. If you're looking to sell your anything from Hyperborea faction, now's the time. Munin, if you're looking to get rid of your Gungnir's, drop them because Hyperborea is coming back, and I guarantee you the devs are not going to be as creative as to invent new guns. They're already inventing this shit. Alrighty, well, I've taken enough of your time, so like, comment, subscribe, comments below, yada, yada, yada. Peace.